Hey, Rylan. James here. Just like to take an opportunity to talk to you a little bit about Flippin' Food Fred. Um, I'm shooting a video because I figured that if I were to write out what I wanted to say, it wouldn't be as quite as clear. So I thought I'd take the opportunity just to do a quick video to show you my thoughts about Flippin' Food Fred. I think that the character looks really good, and I like how the how you've incorporated the background with the character. I think that it's a simple background, but it seems to work rather well. It keeps focus on the character, and it sort of, I don't know, gives it sort of a disco effect. I think these little plays of light kind of give me the feeling of that it has sort of an enchanted evening kind of feel to it, which is kind of cool. Whoops, turn that off. Anyway, one thing that sort of stands out as a bit of an issue with this character is that with the introduction of the background, the character Flippin' Food Fred turns out to look pretty light. And it's fortunately, you have your solution built in as far as how to fix it. And I just wanted to show you real quick how to do it. When I was looking through your layers, I noticed that you had a layer that was a composite of all the different pieces, which in this case is a really good thing because that means that we can make Flippin' Food Fred nice and dark. Let me turn this back on. Okay, so what I did was I moved your composite layer in front of everything, and then I went up here and I chose multiply. So let's go back here. This was normal, so things are kind of light. So I went to my blend modes and I chose multiply. And what that did was it basically on this layer made the lighter pixels transparent, leaving the darker pixels behind to do the heavy lifting. So this was a fast way that you could make your figure a little darker, increase the contrast, make it look a little richer. And so that's sort of the idea that I had. You already had it built into your piece. It was really just a question of finding it and making a slight change to make it look better. So that's what I would suggest you do with your piece. It's a real quick fix. And also, if you don't really care for what's happening with multiply, you do have other choices. You can go a darker color, and, well, you don't want to do that. Anyway, so let's go back to multiply. Well, let's go to darken, see what happens to darken. Nothing. Sometimes these things don't work. Let's stay with multiply. Anyway, so that's one thing you can do. Also, I didn't really do much with this, but if you go down here, excuse me, if you go down to your shadow and you were to give it a slight blur, let's go to blur. You're not going to be able to see this, but I'm going to filter. I'm going to go blur. I'm going to go to Gaussian blur. And right now it's at a 7, and that looks pretty good, so I'm going to stay okay. So I would think going with a Gaussian blur is going to make this look a little bit more natural. Okay. Some other ideas, you might just introduce a slight horizon line just with a tone, although I don't really think that's necessary. I think probably what you have will work pretty well. Anyway, and as far as your type is concerned, I would probably suggest that you take the character, instead of having it center, move it off over here a little bit so that it gives the type some room to breathe, because right now things are really crowded. So if you took Flippin' Food Fred and moved everything over to about this point, I think, it's going to free up some space, and it's going to be able to give the viewer an opportunity to read the title just a little bit better. So not a lot of changes you need to do here, just a couple of tweaks, and I think you're in pretty good shape.